I know you're saying he's a man of many hats and he's a podcaster and we have to take him as a podcaster than the agent or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't not see my teammate's best friend and agent telling the world and the Lakers, who he kind of controls, that they should trade me for a big, great defensive player. I can't unsee that or unhear that or look at him. I think it's wrong for any agent to go and say this about your
That's
your
true too.
player's
I don't want
team.
my
That's
agent talking.
Chris Paul. And by the way, if it was my agent saying this, I would be like, yo, pipe down. You're creating a weird situation for me in the locker room. Like, stop.
I agree with this.
If I'm Austin Reaves' agent, I'm coming out and say, you know what, let's trade LeBron James.
Yeah, again, Rich Paul gonna say some things about Austin Reaves. It's obvious that LeBron James put the batter in his back. He has to do these things for his king, LeBron James, if he wants to continue to make those $1 million checks from LeBron James Incorporated. Rich Paul is trying to sabotage Austin Reaves' career for his king and his boss, LeBron James. Chandler Parsons goes off on Rich Paul. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Despite the fact that Luka had that large point production, man, I guess we can just jump into the Lakers side of this thing, Chandler, because we are approaching the trade deadline. This team right now seems to be just floundering a bit. Are we expecting a trade? And if so, what exactly can they fix?
Yeah, as far as the Lakers trade, you got LeBron James' puppet out there, Rich Paul, saying some things on the podcast with Max Kellerman, saying that, you know what, if I can package a deal to get Jaren Jackson Jr. and may have to surround Austin Reaves. Not his exact quote, but he's pretty much saying get rid of Austin Reaves so his king LeBron James can be that second option. In order for the Lakers to have a chance to win, I guess in Rich Paul's eyes, LeBron can't be in the corner. He can't just be standing there biting his nails waiting to get the ball. Is that a potential change? You got an injured Austin Reaves that's struggling. Even when he is healthy, he's not really gelling with the team as long as LeBron James is in the game and Luka Doncic. When Luka and LeBron were out, he was scoring, 40 and 50-point games. When all three are on the court, that's when you see Austin Reaves. He's starting to become the odd man out, even though the Lakers need to move on from a 41-year-old. So as far as a change for the Lakers, do you try to get more of a defensive type big? DeAndre Ayton, he's making comments that he's not getting the ball. He's frustrated, which I understand because Luka, he's a volume shooter, and when he's not shooting, LeBron's going to shoot, and then Austin Reaves. So do you try to package a deal to get rid of DeAndre Ayton if he's tradable to see if you can get a Jaren Jackson Jr.? He'll be a great addition to the team, but I don't think they're going for it just for Ayton and a bunch of role players. You're going to have to attach an Austin Reaves in order to get another primetime player. Are the Lakers in that desperation mode, or are they just going to chalk this season up, see what they can do, hopefully make the playoffs and maybe do some damage once they get there? But I don't think the team is buying into JJ Redick. They're not playing defense. They have a decent team to where they can still compete. But if you're losing to the Kings, getting destroyed, something has to change ASAP.
It feels like the same story every single night with this team. It's a lot of Luka. It's some highlights from LeBron James, and it's them giving up a lot of points. And then they're 8-6, I think, without Austin Reaves. So it's not even that's presenting that crazy of a hole without him. But obviously, it's a lot more usage rate from Luka when he's out. It's a less of a balanced offense at least, but it's still a lot of ISO, a lot of into shot clock, long threes, a lot of contested long twos. And that's going to happen when you're such a heavy ISO ball dominant team like this, when you play the Luka offense, and they're going to show flashes, and some nights they're going to go and score 135 points and they're going to win. But yeah, I'd like to see them make a trade. I don't know how they can better their team very much without making a huge deal for someone like Austin Reaves. And I think that's not going to happen. So sure, do you look to move, a Rui or a Marcus Smart or LaRavia, someone like that? But to get back more of these wing defenders that can kind of fill some of those holes that they desperately need filled, maybe. I just don't see a trade in which moves the needle and puts them ahead of those teams in the top of the West.
Yeah, the only way the Lakers get better, they got to move Austin Reaves, but they really want Austin Reaves a part of this team with Luka for the next 4 and 5 years. So unless they're willing to move him, you're not really going to get a decent player that's going to move the needle. Do you want another role player, trading role players for role players? Unless you can get someone that's kind of not really talked about, but that can play good defense, play good offense, that can score. If you can get someone like a Norman Powell, not him per se, but a similar player comp to where they're not really known like that in the media, but if you watch those games with that said player, He's scoring. He can play defense. He can hold his own. That's the type of player the Lakers need. Someone that can play defense, can put the ball into the basket, but you don't got to mortgage your whole future just to get him. So again, Austin Reaves, he may be off the trade block, but as long as you got Rich Paul out there putting out these statements on the podcast, alluding to trading Austin Reaves, so his boss, his king, LeBron James, can be the second option, Austin Reaves is going to be in play until the trade deadline.
I mean, like, what trade is going to put them better than the Thunder or the Spurs or the Rockets or the Nuggets? It's not happening. And then it's unfortunate because they do have so much talent, and you want to maximize this Luka trade and Luka years, and Austin Reaves having a career year, and possibly the last year of LeBron James. So you want to put yourself in the best position to win a championship, and I just don't see it with this team, and I don't know the move that would actually put them over the top either.
Again, putting the Lakers over the top with a specific player is going to be difficult if you're not willing to attach Austin Reaves to any trade. Now, me personally, I don't want to see Austin Reaves go, but as far as a front office, exec, team owners, they're like, okay, what are we doing? Even if Austin is healthy and you're seeing how he gels with Luka, is it enough in the Western Conference where teams are getting better, players are getting better, just the overall conference is at new heights? Is Luka and Austin Reaves going to be enough even with a fresh start without LeBron James? That's what you kind of have to forecast if you're the team. Like, do we just go ahead and strike while the iron's hot? If we see a viable player that can make a huge difference, do we go at him? I know a lot of people, they may be talking about Morant going to LA. I don't see that moving the needle. Yeah, you're going to give up Austin Reaves, but is a Morant that's injury riddled, is he going to do anything for the Lakers? I doubt it. So the Jaren Jackson thing, what Rich Paul was saying, that's a good trade. But again, are the Lakers willing to part ways with Austin Reaves? He's going to be asking for a lot of money. Is it worth taking back a huge contract with Jaren Jackson to shore up your team defensively and offensively? Or do you roll the dice with Austin Reaves, pay him, and then see what you can do with him and Luka for the next 4 and 5 years? A lot of question marks with the Lakers by the trade deadline.
Okay, Lou, before I start to say the Rich Paul quote, okay, I need you to understand something. Like, I get that he's an agent, but he's also a podcaster. But if I go on a show and I say some outlandish stuff, and then I come back to this show to host this show, I still said the outlandish stuff. It's still me. I got to own it, because here's what he said. Well, okay, here's his thing. He thinks that the Lakers should trade Austin Reaves, there it is, Chandler, for Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, okay, cool. If we say that, that's one thing, but that's like the teammate of the guy.
Let me ask you a question. I know you're saying he's a man of many hats and he's a podcaster, and we have to take him as a podcaster than the agent or whatever. Yeah. I can't not see my teammate's best friend and agent telling the world and the Lakers, who he kind of controls, that they should trade me for a big, great defensive player. I can't unsee that or unhear that or look at him differently.
Two things can be true, though, Chandler. Two things can be true.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's obvious that LeBron is putting a battery in Rich Paul's back. He's a puppet to Clutch Sports and LeBron James. LeBron actually owns Clutch, in my opinion, but of course he can't actually, run the organization because he's an active player. So you know what? Let me insert my puppet, Rich Paul, in the mix, have him say some crazy things, do what he does on the business end. He's handling his stuff. I give him that. But at the end of the day, he's still a puppet of LeBron James. If LeBron feels a certain way about the Lakers, you notice Rich Paul, he's always right on time with some miscellaneous comments, the whole championship comments in the summertime, and just various things, which led over to him having a podcast with Max Kellerman, and then LeBron James telling him to say some crazy stuff like, get rid of Austin Reaves, have Austin Reaves be a Manu Ginobili type role. He's trying his best to have his boss, LeBron James, have a great season with the Lakers, finish strong. LeBron James, offense starting to catch up. So he's going to, get his 23 to 25 points per game as long as Austin Reaves isn't playing and as long as LeBron James is a second option. He can't do that as long as Austin Reaves on the team. So by him saying trade Austin Reaves for Jaren Jackson Jr., in retrospect, it's a good trade, but having your agent say it, your best friend, your pawn, Rich Paul, again, it just looks crazy in the media, and I'm glad people are catching up to it. LeBron James is a fraud, Rich Paul is a fraud, and they're trying to get Austin Reaves out of LA.
Not a horrible trade idea.
We talk about trading Austin Reaves. Every single person with a microphone is talking about Austin Reaves in trade talk. Why do we give Rich Paul a different standard?
Because he has the power to actually manipulate it.
And he can control the
so what? So if he has the power to Yeah, if he has the power to manipulate it, then I'm gonna use my microphone to do it. Chandler literally just talked about 2 minutes of they need to do something, right? For 2 minutes,
Yeah.
Chandler said they need to do something. So if somebody that has the power to actually do something is saying something about it, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
That's just me
No,
personally.
no. Oh, by the way, I don't
Lou,
have
if
a
you're
problem
Austin
either.
Reaves,
Yeah, it's not about having a problem with it. It's only because, you can have potential tampering going on. I don't think an agent's supposed to be out there, saying miscellaneous trades, especially for you representing a player on the team, the Lakers, LeBron James. I guarantee if Austin Reaves was being represented by Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, you wouldn't be hearing these trade scenarios. And then Rich called out Max for saying he doesn't want to play fantasy basketball, but he'll play fantasy basketball when it comes to LeBron James and seeing how he can improve his stake with the Lakers by getting rid of Austin Reaves. So he's only going to do fantasy basketball when it comes to Austin Reaves being traded, going to the bench, being Manu Ginobili, but everybody else, he's tight-lipped. He doesn't want to talk about it. This is why I'm calling Rich Paul a fraud. He learned it from his BFF, LeBron James. They're all frauds. They all need to leave LA ASAP.
I'm not. If
you-
I'm Austin
do you
Reaves,
feel weird?
I have a huge problem with
Hell
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
when you
No,
see
that's what
Rich
I'm saying.
Paul again, are you cool?
Two things
Or
can
are you
be
just like,
two things can be true.
Shit.
okay.
Two things can be true. I say why not. I say why not.
Wow.
Like Rich Paul isn't. At the end of the day, he's an agent. Yes. Is he a powerful agent?
Hella
Yes. But he ain't the GM of the team. He ain't the coach of the team. He ain't the owner of the team. Does he has juice? Yes. I'm not gonna pretend like Rich Paul doesn't have juice. But again, if you see him again and you're not happy with him, so what? Everybody ain't happy about it. So then if that's the case, then you should be mad at every single person that has an issue with saying that you should be in trade talks.
Beetle,
What about
you
the
know
gist
what?
of the message? What?
Beetle, I'm petty. If
I
I'm
actually
Austin-
like the message.
Hella petty.
If I'm Austin Reaves' agent, I'm coming out and say, you know what? Let's trade LeBron James. There's no
Oh,
future
I like
there.
this. Yours is First of
You've
all, hold
heard
on,
that
hold on.
Have we not heard that as well?
Who's Austin Reaves' agent? Are we going to listen?
Beto, have we not heard that same thing? Have we not
I
heard
don't.
trade LeBron James as well?
Yeah,
Not
but I
from
feel like it has
his
never been
teammates'
serious.
agent. Not from
Let
his
me ask you a
teammates'
question, Chandler. Let me ask you a question. Do you actually like this idea of this trade in particular?
Honestly, it's the first one I don't hate.
I rest my case, man. So it's
But
like
it's just the messenger's wrong, Lou. The
It's the
messenger's
messenger.
wrong. It's creating.
listen, this is the world we live in. We gotta
but
evolve
no.
with the world that we live in.
the
Gotta
first time
evolve
this
in the world that we
happened.
live in.
It's not the world we live in. This is weird.
He's not
This is not okay.
It's
not
the
the
new
same one.
world.
Players have podcasts where they speak out about issues that's going on that personally affects them.
Yeah,
JJ
but can,
Redick was a podcaster before he was the head coach of the team. Why do we have
can
a
the
different standard
assistant
for Rich
coach-
Paul?
Can an assistant coach have a podcast and say we should trade somebody on the team too? Would that be okay
Man,
too?
referees got podcasts. Everybody got podcasts. Everybody talking.
Everybody
I think it's-
referees.
The referees have
I just-
podcasts.
Listen, I like Rich Paul. I just think it's a bad look. I think it's just tone deaf to the whole situation that you guys are in with your team and you're struggling. You're not a contender. Then you have the agent of the greatest player of all time
He's
and kinda
just an
control the whole
agent. He has the power that we Rich Paul to have. He's an agent. He doesn't make decisions. Now, does he have juice to manipulate some of these things and be personally involved with his clients? Absolutely. But we're putting him on some different type of standard that we're not giving nobody else. We have players that literally go in games, get ejected, do this and that, or fight or have good games, and they sit down and they have conversations, and then they have general conversations about what's going on around the league. Now the Lakers, I know it's always a lot of drama, and it's always a lot of what's going on and who's talking and who's doing what with the Lakers. But at the end of the day, everybody talks when it comes to the Lakers. Everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't hold Rich.
Yeah, I get everybody's going to talk, but having an agent go out there and play fantasy basketball, which he said he didn't want to do, but only playing fantasy basketball when it comes to bettering LeBron James and trading away Austin Reaves. So what Chandler Parsons is saying, you know what? If I'm Austin Reaves and their agent, I feel a certain way. If I'm Austin Reaves' agent, you know what? Let's trade LeBron. Let's throw out some trade scenarios for him. So it's obvious Lou Williams, he probably works for Clutch or respects LeBron James, which is cool, but he's not seeing it from the other side as far as business. This ain't a Draymond Green going on his podcast. As long as he's not divulging personal information, it is what it is. Let him yap for about an hour. But if you're an agent, you have a lot of influence. A lot of teams rock with you. You've heard it on the podcast, like Rich has a great relationship with the Warriors and the Lakers and other teams. So if he's throwing out these miscellaneous trades for Austin Reaves, best believe there's talks behind the scenes. Even if Rich Paul isn't representing Austin Reaves, there's still some influence there. So I get it. It is what it is. He got a podcast, so he got a yap for, 2-3 hours. But being an agent, just know it's not going to be taken good as far as other players you can potentially rep in the near future. Other players are seeing this with Rich, like, do we really want this agent representing us? And then if they have someone that they're cool with, that they're representing, I could be a trade talk in a podcast. So that may make Rich Paul look a certain way, but it's obvious he doesn't care. As long as he can help out his BFF LeBron James, that's all he cares about. And unfortunately, Austin Reaves, he'll be a casualty to Clutch Sports.
Chandler,
Rich Paul to a different standard.
Chandler, is Luke clutch now? Like, did Luke go clutch?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
but like, we don't help.
He's
Like
an
Magic,
investor.
we don't say this
for
about
sure.
Magic Johnson. Like, we just let Magic Johnson.
Because he doesn't
talk about
control
anything.
anything.
Luke,
He had more control than anybody.
This isn't just a Rich Paul. It's I think
Magic
it's
Johnson had more
I think
control
it's-
than anybody.
I think it's
True or
wrong
false?
I think it's wrong
When?
for any agent to go and say this about your.
That's
your
true, too.
player's
I don't want
team.
my
That's
agent talking.
Rich Paul. And by the way, if it was my agent saying this, I would be like, "Yo, pipe
I would
down!
hate it.
You're creating a weird situation for me in the locker room. Like,
I
stop."
agree with this. I do.
But we
By
on
the way,
two
we
different-
didn't get
on
to
two
the
different
Can we get
pages
to-
though. We're
No,
talking
it
about
is two
people
different
talking.
conversations.
And yeah, we're having two different conversations. Like if
Yeah.
you're Austin Reaves, I told you he deserves to have a right to feel away. But what I'm saying is everybody's having the same conversation. That's it.
I wish Austin Reaves would just come out and say something wild. Just
That's what I'm
wild.
saying. If-
Yeah, again, Rich Paul gonna say some things about Austin Reaves. It's obvious that LeBron James put the batter in his back. He has to do these things for his king, LeBron James, if he wants to continue to make those $1 million checks from LeBron James Incorporated. So he's just doing what he has to do as a Clutch Sports plant, a Clutch Sports zombie, a pawn. He's doing great right now. Decent little podcast, getting some numbers, having some solid conversations with Max Kellerman, even though he's robotic at times, doesn't want to, answer specific questions or talk about specific topics. If it's surrounding his king LeBron James and booting Austin Reaves, he'll have those conversations all day. So again, I'm all with Chandler Parsons. Yeah, I get the trade. It's not bad, but why have an agent say it? I don't care if Draymond Green has a podcast. I don't care if Magic Johnson is talking. When you got Rich Paul in the mix with all those teams, great relationships, what he's saying can move the needle, and it could be borderline tampering. So it is what it is. If you're Austin Reaves, maybe this is a sign, you know what? Let me get out of LA. As long as Rich Paul has a little bit of influence in the organization, this may not be the place for me. I wish Austin Reaves the best, get healthy, but I think it may be time for him to leave LA because Rich Paul is trying to sabotage Austin Reaves' career for his king and his boss, LeBron James.